Welcome to the Squared Away Life podcast. My name is Camden Busey. I'm continuing my series working through various chapters of my forthcoming book, The Compounding Mind. If you'd like to download the book, you can subscribe to my email newsletter for a limited time at squaredawaylife.com/newsletter. Today we come to chapter 6. In chapter 6, we're going to discuss legacy and memory and building your knowledge treasury, your personal knowledge management system, which will serve as kind of a repository of knowledge, wealth, and wisdom for you long term. Now, every note that you capture and review contributes to a growing treasury of wisdom. Now, unlike material wealth, knowledge equity possesses unique properties that can make it even more valuable across time. We all know about compounding in terms of your finances, but there's a compounding, a very special kind, when you start to record your knowledge in an external system and link your thoughts. Now, this knowledge appreciates without inflation. Your insights don't lose value, in other words, as you accumulate more of them. In fact, the opposite occurs. Each new note increases the value of existing notes through connection and through context. So knowledge equity can be shared also without depletion. When you pass wisdom to others, you retain the full value of what you've learned while multiplying its impact. The treasury grows more valuable through use rather than hoarding. And every time you apply an insight, every time you connect an idea or build on previous thinking, you're not withdrawing from your knowledge equity, you're not bringing down your principal, you're actually compounding it. And perhaps more remarkably, this wealth transcends generational transfer. The insights that you capture today can serve not just you, but if it's done right, you can serve your children, your students, your community, really anyone else who might benefit from what you've learned. But this treasury isn't just for your descendants, it's also for your future self. It's for the person that you'll be in 5 years. And that person will thank you for the insights that you're capturing today. So every note is something of a gift across time for present you to future you, compounding in value with every review and every consideration of your previous notes. Now, the daily review strengthens also your relationships through documented memory. When you capture meaningful conversations with your friends, or maybe the funny things that your children say, the special moments that you have with loved ones, and even the challenges that you've overcome together, you're creating more than a personal archive. You're actually building a relationship treasury that deepens connections over time. This documented history enables you to send remember when messages that revive shared experiences and that deepen your bonds with your friends and family. You can recall, for example, the development of important relationships, seeing not just where you were, but also where you are now and how you got there through the conversations that shifted your understanding, through the moments that built trust, and even the challenges that deepened your connection. You appreciate patterns of growth and change in the people that you care about, noticing their development in ways that would be invisible without the historical record. And you maintain connection across time and distance, keeping relationships alive even when circumstances separate you. Well, one of my favorite practices is copying a memory from my daily review and then texting it to the friend who shared that moment. Now, it might be recalling a special dinner or a fun moment from a vacation, or maybe even a great conversation that we had at a coffee shop. But these little small acts of remembering tell people that they matter to you. Not just in abstract terms, but in documented and specific ways. You're showing them that their words, their presence, their impact on your life didn't just pass through your awareness and disappear, but you captured it. You kept it. You took a record of it. And now you're still drawing value from it years later. That's really a rare gift in a world where most conversations evaporate the moment that they end. Now, over time, your reviews reveal recurring insights that transcend specific situations and become reliable principles that you can trust. You begin to recognize how you best recover from setbacks, identifying not just what helps, but the sequence and the conditions that matter. You discover what conditions enable your best work, For example, these might be the environments, the times of day, the energy states, and the circumstances where you are most effective. You see clearly which relationships energize you and which drain you, often in ways that contradict your assumptions about who should be good for you. You understand what practices actually maintain your well-being versus what you think should work but doesn't. And you learn to trust how your intuition signals important information, recognizing the physical sensations, the emotional shifts, or the mental patterns that reliably precede insights or warnings. Now, this pattern library becomes a personal wisdom kind of tradition that you can consciously apply and eventually pass on. It helps you to learn lessons. You learn yourself better. And unlike generic advice or borrowed frameworks from other people, these are patterns that are proven through your own experience, tested across multiple contexts, and refined through repeated observation. They're not just universal truths, but they are your truths, lessons that you have learned yourself. And that specificity makes them far more valuable than any generalized best practice could be. Now, your daily review practice models something profound for those around you. It demonstrates that reflection has value, that pausing to consider your life is worth protecting time for, not a luxury to skip when things get busy. It shows that growth is documentable, that progress isn't just a feeling, but it's something that you can track, that you can measure, and that you can verify through evidence. It proves that wisdom accumulates through consistent practice rather than arriving in sudden epiphanies. And perhaps most importantly, it models that intentionality is possible, that you can actually live according to your values rather than being perpetually swept along by circumstances. Now, children who see a parent conducting daily review, they learn that life is not just lived, but it's examined. It's not just experienced, but if it's lived well, it's also integrated and understood. They start to absorb the idea that you can be both an actor in your life and a thoughtful observer of it, that reflection and action are not opposing forces, but they're actually complementary practices. And this modeling may be one of the most significant legacies that you can create. It's not merely the content of your notes that matters, but also the pattern of examining, learning, and growing deliberately. So the key principle for today is that daily review creates a treasury of wisdom that can be shared. Remember, take your notes, be verbose, be liberal in what you record. And then every day look at your notes that were written 1 week ago, 1 month ago, and then every year prior. Now I've got one simple action for you today. Write a note today that you would want to read in 10 years. What would you want to read in 10 years? Write that down and you'll review it down the road. This will help us with a mindset shift where we move from my thoughts are temporary to the mindset that I am building a legacy of wisdom, a knowledge treasury. Make that mindset shift, write that note you want to read in 10 years, and do your daily review. You'll certainly grow and benefit from it. My name is Camden Busey. This has been the Squared Away Life podcast. Again, if you'd like to get a pre-publication copy of my book, The Compounding Mind, subscribe to my email newsletter at squaredawaylife.com/newsletter. Thanks so much for watching and listening. I'll see you next time.